sad face. Alright, what you want to do is take the door panel off first. If you got power windows, this panel needs to come up. And what I normally do is I pry from the front here very carefully. Just very carefully pull the switch pack and remove all the electrical connectors. Next off, this piece, there's a screw behind here, and get a pry tool, carefully pry this trim panel off. Alright, so there's a screw right here you need to remove. It's Phillips. Come in and zoom in and look at it. There's this screw right here, and then two underneath. One here, and one here. Unlike the normal single cab or the extended cab, there is no filler piece here to remove. You'll also want to turn the dome lights off so you don't drain the battery, if that's even an option on these trucks. Oh, I lied. There's one more screw right here. Right here. Okay, so once you've got the 3 Phillips screws out and the 7mm screw out, the door panel should just lift right off. And if your model's got the light, go ahead and twist counterclockwise and pull the light bulb out. Okay. Alright, and there's couple of bolts here that need to be removed to hold this door panel bracket on. Comes off just like that. And then now you should be able to peel this vapor barrier off. Which would expose the lock actuator, which is right in there. Yep, right there. Alright, so we've got the lock actuator bracket here. It is an 11mm bolt that holds this in. And from here, it's just a matter of sneaking the motor out. Whichever way it comes out. It might take some trial and error. You may want to unplug the electrical harness here and its retainer. Alright, here's the plug. Now, you might need to come over this way. What we're trying to do is we're trying to remove, this is an actuator right here. we're trying to remove it from the door latch. So in this case, I'm just going to have to twist and get the hook out of the plastic fastener that it's in. And it may take some trial and error. Okay. Alright, so what I had to do, there's this retaining disc or cap that went around the piston here. That was holding the rod in. I remove that to make space to get this out and around. The new actuator, Dorman part 746157, comes with a new one of these. It's got different size rods depending on your application. Just find one that matches the existing rod as closely as possible. Okay, so what we've done here is we've taken this bracket and put it on the vise here, just to make it a little easier. The OEM actuator is just kind of clipped into this bracket, and it's just a matter of getting these pegs out of the bracket. So we'll use a little pry bar of sorts, and it pops out just like that. Notice the spring tension on the clip here. So now it's just a matter of getting the new one oriented the same way. Like so. One quick tip for making this a little bit easier is to remove the window channel or the window guide, and that's with an 11mm bolt right here. And then just grab a hold of the window guide and pull down. And they come out just like that. Now this gives you a little bit more access to the latch assembly. You barely see it, but there's a second little hole there next to this rod for the thumb pull for the door lock. That's where the lock rod actuator, or the lock rod for the actuator, needs to go. And what I did here is I prepped the correct size rod, and it's just going to go in that hole and around just like that. Like so. And then from there we've got to connect this connector piece to the actuator. So what I'll do first is I'll get all the electrical connections buttoned up as best as I can. It's easier to do it now than it is to do it when everything's in the door. And then on these Dorman actuators, this white little piece on the piston here just slips into that. Kind of difficult because you can't get two hands in here. It would really help if you could. And you know it's seated in there correctly when you hear it pop. So we just align the stud and the bolt. Snug. It's a small bolt, don't over torque it. put the window track back in. The top of the window track, my finger here goes in this groove. Now you've just got to align it. See, there's a clip there that helps hold. There's a clip right there that holds things in place. And you just keep pushing up until the bolt hole down here aligns. It's very helpful if you have an assistant to start screwing that bolt in while you hold everything together. Just like the other nut, snug, not too tight. Before you button the door up, you always want to check your work. So for the door locks, you just want to plug the green plug in. Go ahead and plug in the windows so we can check those as well. Ignition switch on. Make sure the window goes up and down properly. Okay. We'll have to move that wire over so that it doesn't hit the window every time it goes down. And unlock and lock. Make sure everything goes in the right direction. When you hit unlock, it goes up, and lock goes down. This is why we check everything before we button the door panel up. I ended up moving the retainer for this wire harness to the other side of the bracket so that when the window comes down, it doesn't rub up on there. We always want to check our work. There's no way now that the wiring will ever rub up against the window, so all's good. Now we just button the door panel back up. It's just a reverse of how we took it apart. Can't forget this bracket here. There's a little hook here that lines up with a hole in the door. Make sure you get that lined up. Get these two screws started by hand. Go ahead and tighten her up. Not too tight, these are very tiny screws. 7 millimeters. Okay, now we grab the door panel. The courtesy light goes in this hole right here. You just line up the peg and turn it clockwise until it snaps in. Now the door panel's got these hooks that just go into the corresponding holes in the door. It's just a matter of lining all those up. And this door lock rod. Once you get everything in line, it just pushes back down, pushes down, and you can proceed to put your screws in. Starting with the short Phillips screw, it goes into the door next to the door handle. Two slightly longer Phillips screws that go in the bottom of the door. And one 7mm that goes in right here. Careful not to drop that screw in. Now we pop the trim piece back on. There's this little tab here that needs to get put in first. And these others just line up and snap in. You know it's done properly when there's no gaps. And the switch panel. So put all the connectors in. They're all different sizes, so they only go in one way. Don't force anything. If you have to force it in, it's likely you got it in wrong. And just like this panel, this little tongue here has to go underneath the door panel. And there's a clip here on the front that you just push down. And now we check our work again. The window rolls down. Lock, unlock. No more sad face noise. Everything sounds nice and good. Job's done. If you latched it to make sure the lights stay off while you're working, make sure you pull on the door handle and push it back down. Otherwise, you can't shut the door just like I did earlier. And that's how you do a door lock actuator on a SuperCrew.